Hey guys, welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel and welcome to another training report video. This time we're going to be talking about the big open training session before Christmas. It was put online. You would have seen all the excitement, all the Sainters that turned up. It was a really, really good turnout. So good job on the club for putting that all together. But the most exciting thing, the footy itself was great and we'll talk about that, but also the fact that we got to see some familiar faces return. So obviously Nicky Winmar was there handing out his book and that was a really great moment with all the Indigenous boys. And then you had Cozzy around and then you had the big dog, the GOAT, Rooey. And that was such a big surprise. I was just standing there chatting to someone and then his kids just run past and then Cozzy and his wife and that walked past and then Rooey walked past and then there's a giant swarm of people around him and turned up and it was such a great vibe at open training yesterday. Good weather, good turnout, and a good session by the boys as well, which was the most important thing among all of the excitement that was happening around the ground off the field. So great turnout. What I noticed straight off the bat was that the boys were warming up a lot more than usual, and I'm not sure if this is to do with the fact that we've had a lot of bad luck in terms of injuries. You know, this time last year, there was 5 or 6 blokes that, touch wood, but 5 or 6 blokes that were already out for a chunk of the season. So I don't know if the warm-up was precautionary or we're just doing that now, but I thought it was a really good sign. It was a good 15 minutes, and I swear I've seen sessions where the boys come out, they grab the footy straight from the bins, and they go straight into a kick-to-kick and get into the ball skills. But with this, I think a few of the boys got footies, but they then just left them behind and went and did some laps for a good 10-15 minutes, some run-throughs, some strides, that sort of thing. So I thought that was interesting to note. Obviously, I've gone through BigFooty and collated as many other points that stood out to me as possible. So first one is emphasis on absorbing pressure, having multiple runners burst away from the ball to create options. And I really like that one. That one I could see earlier in the day, and you know why we've got the sort of players that we've got now. You know, it's when you're in that situation where you're being corralled, another team's coming at you pretty hard, you need to be able to almost go up a notch in terms of speed, in terms of exploding away from the contest and getting into space. And that was that drill. So I thought that was a really good one. I don't think we did that as well as we could have at the back end of this season. I think we started well, but I think we kind of lost our way there. So that's good that that's continually being emphasized. There was another drill where 2 players would run at each other with the ball to evade the opponent with tackle or to take on. And that was Henry versus Shawmaker was the example put here. And Henry took him to the cleaners, put him on his ass apparently, and did the old don't argue and ran off with the footy. So Henry, to be fair, just watching him train, he's going to win a lot of one-on-ones. He's going to be a nightmare to play on because he's got that low center of gravity, that speed, but I think he's got that aggressive side about him that maybe some Sainers won't see until we start seeing him play. But just from those little examples, even in some of the other match simulation later in the day, I don't know, he's just got something about him that maybe we didn't think we were getting when we got him. Obviously the club would have known, but I'm starting to see a few little other traits, not just his speed, more than that could really benefit the rest of the team. Pooh, Windy and Wilson, those 3 every training session are just killing it. They impressed me a lot. Pooh just looks silk. Like he just looks silky with everything that he does. Marking it at the highest point. His field kicking was elite. I think he kicked a beautiful goal from the boundary line on his left foot. You know, he's going to be a nightmare to match up on again. And Windy was just fit as a fiddle running around. There was a couple of passages where he'd get the ball, kick it, he'd go for the 1-2, didn't get it, but he wouldn't stop running. And he'd just keep running and running and running until he'd made enough space to get the ball back. So that just shows the tank that he's got. And then speaking of tanks, we've got Darcy Wilson, who, again, just runs on top of the ground, runs quicker than everyone, harder than everyone. But when he gets the footy, he actually uses it really well. He penetrates, he kicks through the footy. He kicked a few goals, like good goals on the run from about close to the 50. So he's got a bit of distance about him and he's got a great size. And he reminds me a little bit of a younger Lenny Hayes in terms of his physique. Higgins, Houghton, King ran lots of laps, as did Owens and Caminiti. But Owens and Caminiti, they're enormous. Even seeing King up close looked massive. Houghton, he looked like he put on a bit of size. And even Higo looked like he's done a bit of work in the gym as well. Looked really fit. But they were just kind of running. Like King was just on his haunches kind of most of the training session. He was just gassed. They were just running him into the ground. And I love that. That's great to see. Overall disposal looked really good. Nice to see one kick go astray from Marshall. This was at the start of the day I was watching. And a kick, someone stuffed up a kick to Marshall. Really basic kick. And he just kind of let them know, like, Like, come on, boys. Like, and then I think they did push-ups after that. I think after every mistake they did push-ups. I can't remember, but it was just good to see the leaders of the footy club, like Marshall, even in a basic training session. It's a basic drill, but if it's a basic kick, you got to get it right, and he didn't, and he made him know. So that just shows the level of standards these boys have for each other, which is really good. Last drill was repeat efforts for defenders. So run to a cone, spoil the ball, get up, run to the next cone, spoil the ball. That was very tiring to watch, but that was a really, really good one. I thought Dukes looked, speaking of defenders, I thought Dukes looked bigger. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I thought he looked bigger. Like, he definitely seemed like he's put on a bit of size. Because usually when I look at him and then I think of other defenders, I think, yeah, he's on the thinner side. But when I looked at him up close, I was like, nah, he looks bigger. He looks bigger today. He definitely looked bigger than Cordy. You know, and last year I didn't think there was much of a difference. Seeing them both standing next to each other yesterday, there was a bit of a difference. Collard was really lively, getting the ball, a lot of 1-2s, a lot of tricks, a lot of snaps. Some of them came off, some of them didn't, but he's going to take the game on. He wants to sit on blokes' heads and kick snags, and that's what we love. Like, he's going to be an X factor. And even as a sub, honestly, bring him on in the third or fourth terms late in the game when everyone's cooked and the game's tight. He's good for 2 goals, I reckon, just off the back of everyone being gassed and him being really energetic playing the game. So he's one to watch. I reckon he'll play more games than we think. Bonner and Shawmaker are going to launch a few. They had some massive... They got, as we know, they got massive pegs on them, but there was one passage where I think Battle or someone had the ball, and it was Bonner on one side, Shawmaker on the other, and he's like, which one do I choose? Gave it to Bonner. He missed the goal, but he kicked it 55 on the run off 2 steps anyway, and it was no problem. So he's a big kick, as is Shawmaker, as we know, and McLennan looked a bit bigger. Definitely noticed a few boys that have... I guess, changed their body shapes. Even Jack Steele, we talked about it last season. He dropped a few kilos, and that was kind of the plan with Seb. He's definitely put on a few kilos now. He still looks on the lighter side for a mid from him maybe 3 years ago, but he still, to me, looks like he's put on a bit this season. So I think every player is definitely bigger, fitter, and yeah, we're in a great position. You know, touch wood, it doesn't change, but we're in a really good position. And then lastly, the cool down. The cool down was more the warm up. 15 minutes of kind of running laps constantly, just non-stop. And by that point, I'm like, bloody hell, you're running him into the ground big time. But that's what we want. And it just shows how fit we want to be. We're already fit, but I think we want to be the absolute fittest in terms of just almost abnormal fitness, I think. Like, if you're at that level of fitness that other teams just absolutely cannot go with you, we're going to be, you know, maybe they have more skills, but if we're going to be in the game, late in the game, and we're running on top of the ground and they're not, regardless of skills, we'll be fine. Like, we'll be in games enough to run them out. So I'm really excited by that approach. And yeah, that was kind of the day. Rooey being there, got a photo with him. That was awesome. Chatted to Andrew Bassett, the club president, and he was very, very bullish about next year and loves that everyone's writing us off already because that's what everyone does. It was just good to be at Moorabbin again for the last time this year and seeing all the Sainers out there, getting photos with the players, and Jack Sinclair stayed out a lot later than usual. And yeah, it was awesome. But anyway, guys, that's kind of the breakdown. Hopefully you enjoy it. I'll try to chuck up some photos or maybe some videos if I've got any. Otherwise, you're just staring at this. But yeah, apart from that, went to the merch shop, bought this. Pretty happy with it. Yeah, it was really nice. Membership discount, so about $100. You can get it on the Saints shop. So yeah, Christmas present to me. And speaking of, I'm not sure, I'll do a Saints TV weekly before Christmas, but anyway, I hope you have a great Christmas if you don't watch that video, and thank you for your support, and I'll see you very, very soon. But until then, take care, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and as always, go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.